Right. Okay, everyone. Today I'm looking at replacing the screen on this Samsung Galaxy smartwatch. Yeah, pretty obviously busted. So we'll run around with a bit of hot air. And see if we can soften up the tape holding it down. With a double-sided tape, like all good device construction. Feels pretty hot. Although, what was it, 160 Celsius there, just to make sure it gets into it. Don't want to mess around. What do we got here? Yep, that's fairly soft, isn't it? I think it's going to come up quite easily. Don't want too many shards in our way. There we go. Okay, connectors at the bottom. Here we are. Don't know how much extra flex. We don't have a lot of flex on that, do we? This is going to be fun to get together, isn't it? Here's the new one. That's the connector at the end of the flex there. So that's all the length we have to work with. Yeah, that's as far as we get to lift. So I guess then this centerpiece must come out. I guess it's stuck down as well. There's no sign of any screws. So let's does that lift up? It moved. Yeah, it looks like that's glued down as well. What's under there? That's the battery. So we need to lift this. Yeah, it's got glue under it as well. So we need to heat that up now. I think I'll turn that down. Only goes down to 100. I don't want to overheat the battery, but we'll just set that at 160 degrees and just very quickly. It's quite good just to point it at your hand with caution, and you get an idea of how hot your hand gets for a given distance, so you know it's going to be a gradual warming process if you're not getting up too close. And will we lift this? Suppose we could put alcohol under it, but don't want to destroy the glue, do we? Or is that a screw? What is that? That almost looks like it's crimped on there. Interesting. Does that, you can lift that? Okay. That's sort of lifting. Almost looks like that is some kind of screw. I wonder. Maybe I should watch a tutorial. Let's have a closer look. What are we dealing with here? It's almost like the plastic's being bonded there. Whatever this is melted into place. And you see the case is flexing underneath it. That's interesting. I wonder if that's a connector. Is that carrying our battery voltage through there? Oh, okay. So maybe the back comes off first. I'm just getting carried away because I can. Okay, we don't need to remove the screen itself immediately. Where is my appropriate screwdriver? I should probably take these off. Does that just slide? Is that kind of a sliding thing? How does that come out? Can we take these off? Can we? Doesn't move. Does the other side move? The other side moves, okay. So it is supposed to retract the pin, it's just very stuck. Wow. If I can... Ooh. Doesn't seem to want to give up. Maybe I just leave it on. Bizarre. We'll have to proceed with it attached. Tri-wing. Jesus, they're tight. Cannot loosen it under the microscope. Oh, and it's slipping. Don't slip too much. Do I have a fatter screwdriver? If you let it slip too much, it'll round it out and then you'll never undo it. I know I've got one here somewhere. So now that I've got the screws out, and that was a little bit of a mission there, and they're quite tight. I wonder if they Loctite the threads. Maybe. Here's one of the screws. Kind of looks like there could be a little bit of Loctite on there. And being tri-wing, you don't get a lot of purchase. So you need to have a really good fitting screwdriver, and even then you got to make sure you push down on it really firmly so that it doesn't slip. So how does the back come off? Does it just fall off? Let's see. Is it loose? Do we have to get under an edge with a knife? What have we got here? Got a bit of a cover. Alright, we'll take that off. We don't want to lose that. Can we no, maybe I got to get under the edge with something. Yeah, we just got to work our way around the edge by the look of it. So just want to slip something up under there. And wiggle it and push in something that has some kind of silicon there. I see a bit of a gap forming. Okay. Can you get a nail in it? Nails are always good. Oh yeah, look at that. Once you get a lift on it. Cool. So we get something a bit more stronger in there. Oh, look at that. Yeah, there is a silicon. You can see it peeling away. Hey, that's kind of cool. It's probably a big waterproofing O-ring. Yep. You can see how it's still attached there in the gap, and then when I lift it away, it'll peel off. Like that. I believe this is fully discharged, just due to the fact that you couldn't see the screen. I tried to start it charging and it wouldn't take a charge, so I think it hasn't been used for some time and the battery may have gone into shutdown, so we'll have to address that as well. very gently prying that off. We don't want to have the silicon suddenly let go and have it pull away suddenly and maybe tear a flex connector, because we don't know what's in here. So there we go. There is a little bit of a flex. Goes down, oh, it goes over to the top side, so we'll take it from that side. There you can see the flex connector there. So we'll separate that. And that's how that looks. That's our wireless charging. Oh, is it? Actually, hang on. No, that's just our sensors for biometric sensors. I wonder if this even has wireless charging. That's interesting. Maybe it does. Is that our wireless charging antenna pickup? Or maybe it doesn't. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. Hopefully they do, because I don't have the cable. If it does require a cable, a little bit more glass there. Slowly embedding into my fingers. So here is the guts of it. It's interesting that that's depressed. Maybe it's done to create a bit of a heat sink as well as shield, but it's sort of indented. I certainly haven't been in here before. I don't think anyone else has. So now what we need is that's the screen connector there, so we'll pop that off, and then we can pull our screen through. I don't think there's any other connectors. Looking at that, we've got one there, it goes to the buttons on the side, one up top there. I'm not sure what that's for. Kind of looks mechanical. One here. That's interesting. Is there a hole in the side of the case? There is. So that could be either a speaker or a microphone. Probably a microphone, I think. Don't think they've got speakers. I don't think they make audio. Oh, they might make a little click, actually. Yeah, no, they probably do. I haven't used one. I don't really have a need for a smartwatch myself. It'd be one of those toys that I just have because I can afford it, but I don't see the justification in it. I wonder if I can tuck that down. No, I don't think I can. This will have to be disassembled because there's looks like a bit of stuff in the way there. Let's try it. Let's try lifting the screen, which I have now reattached because I was stupid, but I had to lean on it. Let's just run around the side and hope it'll release again. There we go. Now, is that flex gonna tuck around? No, that's not coming out of there. Okay, whatever we need to do, it is a full disassembly. Boo. Well then, I guess I'll be unhooking this flex and the button flex, and one little screw. I bet that screw goes into that little brass piece that was on the back of the battery cover that we were looking at. Yeah, that's a cute way to do it, isn't it? Now will this whole thing lift out? I wonder where the battery attaches. This could be potentially live. Potentially. Do I need to undo this? It's just taped on, I think. Is it going to come with it? Or not? Don't know if that's glued on. I might have to release that. Just lifted the microphone out. It's very dirty under there. Look at that. Nice big red O-ring around it for waterproofing. But I would say that had to come up, possibly because that flex comes down and around the side there. So maybe that has to. Something's moving down there. Maybe that's actually that's probably the speaker, to be honest. Bet you that's the speaker, because that's in line with the other hole there. So maybe a little bit of hot air that comes with it. Looks like it's gonna pop out if I keep lifting. Maybe it needs to slide up and out of there. Maybe that does need to come off. I'm going to heat that up and see what happens. Here we go. A little bit of hot air releases that. It's just an earthing point, grounding point, and then now it's free to come up. So then this board is just going to come off. Oh yeah. It's kind of clipped in at the bottom. Whoa, there we go. Ooh. Neat. So it was wedged in here. There's a little overhang in the plastic there and there, which is holding it down as well, so be careful of that. But there's our Screen Connect. The underside of the board has just these spring contacts that go onto the associated pads, and it looks like we've got this says plus and minus here. So this is going to be our battery connector, which is a good chance to see how charged it is. So we'll do that. Make sure I wasn't dreaming. Make sure that there's not something else wrong with this thing. And it says nothing. Battery has shut down due to deep discharge. So we're going to need to get some power into that, otherwise it won't even attempt to wireless charge. So let's carry on. What comes out next? Does that whole mid frame come out perhaps? Possibly. Let's give it a wiggle. Or does the battery come out? Something actually sat back in there. Before. So maybe that does slide up and out of there. But again, this flex, this connector is not going to get down through that gap, so we have to take the mid frame out. I wonder if the battery comes out first. Let's not stab it with a tweezer. Let's see if we can wiggle it a bit freer as it sits. It is stuck to the plastic piece on the back. Okay, now we've undone that screw, we should be able to release that. So we're going to have to unstick this first, obviously, otherwise, and when the battery comes off, that will lift up and over, but that's nicely stuck down. We may need a bit more hot air to release that, or not. Here we go. Cool. Alright, so let's once again lift the faceplate. Oh, let's go for the part that's not broken. There we go, lift it that way. Cool. Now that we've undone the screw that retains this, we should be able to lift out the whole section here, and it is lifting. There we go. Cool, so the battery's coming up with that kind of. Ooh, actually something else is coming up with that. What have we got down there? Nope, there was the whole battery. I could see the PCB on the back of the battery there through the gap, and I thought, oh, there's more. What's coming up with that? No, it is part of the battery here. So good. Okay, no destruction of battery. And now the mid frame, can we just push it out from this side? Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, yeah, gentle, gentle. So these little silver clips here, maybe we're supposed to take the silver clip out first. Here we go. There we go. Just get in there and give it a pull. Aha. And now you see the front has fallen off completely. Let's park that aside and dispose of any extra shards of glass that are still retained in the ring. Little clips holding the buttons there. The buttons must push in. There we go. Yep. Don't release those. There'll be a baby spring behind them. They'll just ruin your day if you lost them. We just really have to remove the rest of the adhesive and glass. I wonder if hot air or alcohol would be the best method of attack. Probably alcohol. Just let that soak in, and that will help release. Because the tape has come off and left this glue behind, so it's not really on tape, so I can't really peel it off, but I can try and swipe it round in one long hit. Here we go. Dig it all. Okay, so I'll remind me that the frame is dented right there. We're going to have to fix that, otherwise it's going to encourage the new screen to crack as well. So we've got a dent right here. That's what's caused the initial fracture, which has bent the metal into the path of the screen, so the screen won't sit down cleanly against here. If you were to just if you didn't notice that and you put the new screen on and then push down on it to try and seat the glue against the frame, it would get stuck here, and because it's such a microscopic level you would think it was sitting flat looking at it with a naked eye, but it would actually sit up on that lump until you pushed on it and then shatter your brand new screen. Yes, I'm speaking from experience. Don't judge me, we're all new at this once. But iPads, that was where everyone learnt that, mainly. Guarantee it. I did have one issue with a phone screen once as well. I thought I had everything out, but there was a tiny little shard of glass that got trapped under the new screen, and it wouldn't have been a problem, except the guy he saw a bright spot behind the screen. It wasn't immediately apparent after it was fitted, and then over time this little shard of glass got behind the screen and was applying pressure to the back of the screen and made a bright spot, which in itself didn't actually ruin the screen. But he thought, oh, that's funny, what's that? Let's sort of push on it and see what happens. Kiss the screen goodbye. Could have just taken it apart and removed the shard out and it would have been fine. Anyway. This is really the longest part of any screen replacement, is the clean up and prep work. What can we do about that? That's the little dent that caused all the trouble. That will still cause the trouble if we don't clean it up. Might see if it will just maybe break off. Maybe if we just sort of get under it and see if we can. Oh yeah, it looks like that's going to break off. So as you can see there, just getting the screwdriver under the metal that hangs over the edge and just give it a bit of a twist up. There you go. Push it out the way, go on skis. And then of course this has to be perfectly smooth around here for the new screen to sit against. Run that around with a little bit of pressure, pushing it toward the outside just to make sure that there's nothing sticking inwards that's going to cause us a problem. And I think that's looking pretty good. Pretty darn good. A little bit more alcohol on a swab. Clean up. Basically ready to go. So, one thing of interest, but there's no shards of glass still sitting around. But one thing of interest was when buying these screens, most of them said no NFC. And it makes me wonder what it is about the new one that would mean no NFC. So for an extra $10 or something, I think there was one there for with NFC, but looked identical on screen. That's the new one, possibly refurbished, looking at the state of those solder joints. If I compare that to the original one, so we have a row of caps there down the side. We've got our connection to the LCD from that point. Here's a chip on film under here, which is chip on film here, a row of caps down there, this piece here, which I'm not entirely sure what it is. It's soldered on like rather appallingly. And the original screen has the chip-on flex down the bottom, the row of caps on the side, the other row of caps on this side. Basically looks identical, except this piece here, which is obviously a far superior connection, maybe that is our NFC antenna. Could this be our NFC antenna? Because there's not a lot going on this. Looking at those pins, they don't all seem to be connected to something. There could be something on the underside, of course, but WC1SS LFAG, not too sure. But looking at that one, so that has clearly been removed and reattached to this unit, and I don't think that one there and that one there don't even look soldered on, although they could be. It's pretty horrible looking. Let's see if we can't clean some of the flux on it. Wonder if we could make it sit better, resolder it ourselves. I'm told that they don't use NFC, so it's no big deal if it doesn't work, but let's see if those solder joints are connected through. If they are, I'm not going to mess with it. Listen for the beep, and we should have that one to there. And I'm not touching the other side, so that is soldered through. That one's soldered through. That one definitely soldered through. That one looks like it is. This one looks like it isn't. But looking at that, yeah, that's connected, and that's connected. So I think we'll let sleeping dogs lie, as they say, because as sure as eggs, if I start unsoldering that, I'm sure I could do a better job than that. But if it's been tested working, why tempt fate? Why tempt fate at all? So let's get rid of the broken one again. Did it come with new adhesive tape? No, it doesn't. Okay. Alright, so we're going to need to provide our own adhesive. Now, instead of applying adhesive to the screen, I think I'll apply it to the frame. Hopefully it lines up. It looks like the back of the screen is shaped in a way that will help it key in, or the top of the screen is, so it'll key in, so it's not going to sit slightly crooked. That's always a possibility, I guess, but it looks like it's not going to do that. And I'm going to have to use some glue. So we have the B7000 glue, great for this kind of work. There's also a B6000, no, it was E6000 I think it was, which apparently is not quite as strong. Now, the colour of the glue is interesting as well. It's normally quite clear, but after a while it kind of goes off in the tube, I think. and then when you squeeze out a bit, it's kind of blue to start with. So I'm just going to squirt a bit out first so that I get the nice and clear glue. I'll hold it. Actually, keeping the strap on one side is great because you can hang on to it and the frame doesn't move around. So we don't want a lot of glue because it's going to spread out pretty well. It will ooze. And of course, you don't want too much that it oozes down and, say, jams up the buttons, for example. And you don't want it to get into the microphone hole or anything like that. So even that much is probably too much, to be honest, because it's got nowhere to go when it flattens out under the screen. So now we're going to pop our screen in, and it sits that way with the cable at the top. And I will go cable end first. Oh. And pop it down into place. I should be able to feel that sit, because it does rotate a little. There we go. It looks fairly square. I guess nothing's ever going to be perfect again, is it? Okay, so now we need to get the battery pack back in. I would say that's dead nuts 12 o'clock position. So we need to clamp our frame back in. In fact, what I might do before I do that is just apply some pressure for a bit until the glue sets. I'm going to do that. Once the screen is secure, we will carry on. We need to get some charge into the battery before we proceed. And we'll see if I can just hook on there and hook on there, and hopefully that will be enough to get some charge in. There we go. These little clips are great. If you can get them, they are so handy. Super handy. Now I'll connect the... Right, this is going to kill the light because of the current limiting. But let's go down to there, and we'll turn that down and see what happens. Okay, 40 milliamps, so 80 milliamps. We'll just trickle it in at about 90 milliamps for a bit, and because it's so super deep discharged, you don't want to pass high current through them right away, but you know, a few tens of milliamps is good. I've not had an issue with that in the past, so we'll set it at that. Once it comes up to closer to 3.8 volts, then we can crank it up to half an amp or so and really get it going. Always have a look at the charge rated capacity of the battery. 230 milliamp hours in this case. These little batteries, don't forget, they are small. They don't take as much power as your 18650s and so on. Ideally then you don't want to be charging them at half an amp plus. You know, half C would be alright. So I'm currently had it at about 120 milliamps for the last half hour. That should have enough in it for the watch to turn on and for us to test the wireless charging capability, if that's exactly what it has. So let's come back to life with the light, and we will measure how much the battery is at. And survey says 3.9 volts. That should be just great. The battery has to slip up under there. like that. Cool, so that actually would have come out. Oh, we didn't have to peel that off, it would have come out with it. Yeah, we'll know for next time, won't we? And that goes back down on there. And then that all slots back in. Like so, which means we didn't have to remove. Oh no, we did have to remove that board. Yeah, still had to remove the board. Okay, so let's get the board in, and goes in that way. Now it should hopefully be. Yeah, we'll pop that in there. Pop that in there. That clips down into there. Or do I slide it in on an angle? Do I never like pushing these PCBs down into the tight little clips, like that little clip at the top there. See if I can just run it under the way it came out, like that, I guess. Ooh. No, just is. Alright. Oh, and that was silly, wasn't it? I got that flex stuck under the board. There we go. There we go. Well, maybe put a bit of heat on that and see if we can convince it to stick again. Well, cross fingers we can attach the screen without, I mean the battery's technically connected, we can't really avoid that. So here's hoping that won't cause an issue. There's no like backlight circuit as such. Lined it up pretty schmick. I don't think there's any voltage going to it like some backlight circuits, so you shouldn't connect the screen while it's live, but that's fine. That's down in there, that's down in there, that's still not sticky. Maybe it'll stay down. Pop that screw back in. Let's connect can I do this? Yep, should be able to do this without. Cool. going to clamp back on. What's going to stop that, if anything? Nothing. It sits back into place. Very good. Now the moment of truth, I guess. Let's kill the light so that you can see it light up if it does light up. Which button is power on? I don't know. Aha! Nice. Samsung Galaxy Watch Active. Boot. Cool. Okay, well, there you go. You can see that it's working. Let's see if it charges. I honestly don't know how to use this. Is it touchscreen? I don't know if they're supposed to be touchscreen. No. Oh no, they are touchscreen. There you go. Good. Touch works. Are you stressed? Nope. Well, it doesn't charge, but it could just be it needs its own dedicated charger. So I don't know what the story is there. My wireless charger flashes a couple of times, and yeah, I don't know what's going on, but maybe it's just doesn't accept that protocol. So all we need to do is clean it up a bit. As you can see, it's a little bit rough around the edges where the glue seeped out a little. I think, if anything, this display may be slightly smaller than the factory one, just because it seems to have a little bit of an edge to it. But then again, it might not be. It might just be that the glue come out over the edge and made it look a bit rough. We'll clean that up and call it done. So yeah, nice and straightforward job. Thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one.